This is BleedTV, the only podcast for today's best shows and movies. I'm Zach.
And I'm Cash.
And tonight we're going to hit that Into the Badlands. This was, what, season 3?
Season 3.
First episode, Enter the Phoenix. Cash, how awesome is it to finally have some kick-ass show back on television?
Man, I completely forgot how good the show was. I'm not even going to lie to you.
Well, to be honest with everybody who listened in and stuff like that, we weren't huge fans of how the second half of season 2 kind of went in certain directions. Some of the choices they made, of course, we hated to lose Quinn, we hated to lose Vale, those things like that. Some of the details were a little off, but this season 3 opener was quite a uplifting and very...
It's a great change of pace.
It really was, man. I thought it was really, really well done. Kudos to Al.
Get it right. Yeah, I see you back there preparing for it. You almost jumped right into it. I was like,
Al Goff and Mike Miller. Okay, even though it's spelled Millar, as some people like to say.
It took me back to the season or the series premiere.
It was very, what it did. What I loved. It went back to the roots of giving you the setup of the characters.
Yes,
we got to see all the characters that were important that were left alive. Of course, you know, we got to see where they are. It was in a good order. The pace was in great shape. It set the tone for where you were looking, what we were doing, and how it's on. Some people could say it was a little fast to get that way, but it was almost necessary.
Yeah,
because if you had left out some people, it wouldn't have made sense in some retrospects, you know, so...
this is a show, it's okay to be a little too fast.
It is. Here's the deal. This show is not geared or written for a slow, in-depth drama.
No.
Absolutely not. People who watch this show and love it like we do, they want to make sure they're getting plenty of blood, plenty of action, and plenty of really unique characters, amazing set pieces, something different.
Yes.
Something a little bit supernatural, but still relative and realistic feeling.
Let the rule of cool take over.
Yes.
And like, just because last season the problem with the rule of cool was it wasn't that cool. Like there was parts of it that just
it was repetitive.
Yes,
you know what they were honing on the characters alone, and so the details they were throwing in there just didn't quite deliver like you'd hope with some of those things, and so. And that's just our little opinion.
Yeah.
But, don't get me wrong, the show was still great. It just, it struggled.
But it hit all of that this season and everything.
But the way it started this one was great.
Started off as like, what, the war, essentially?
Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. The opening of this entire show gave so many, like, little drops to other things. I mean, like, I felt like I was watching Mel Gibson, The Patriot, with the girl with the flag running up the hill.
Look, this girl, I was like, wait, first off, how have we been hiding this woman for so long?
This chick
I was like, where was she all last season?
Tilda who is what I felt like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And when she goes in there and she's taking folks down and stuff like that, and then she's in the middle of the field, and then you do the arrow thing, and I'm thinking, Leonidas is about to go down.
I started laughing. I was like, we'll fight in the shade. I was like, yeah. And then she gets mowed down. I was like, oh.
Dude, like I was, holy shit, man. When she took like 27 bolts to the chest.
Like, no care or anything. I was just like, this is why we didn't introduce her last year.
Right. Now, I will say, and of course, I'm a detail freak. Okay. She had bolts, arrows, what do you want to call them, within 3 or 4 inches of each other all over her. Mm-hmm. Not a single one touched her face or neck. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It was all body shots. To me, I mean, I get they wanted to show her hit the ground and see that she had died, and maybe you don't want to show a woman that's got an arrow through her face or this, but to me,
this is the same network that just had like guts ripping out of a walker's.
Yeah, I mean, like
guts and everything.
There's no holds bar on The Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead. But this one kind of, to me, you're not afraid to show somebody get their head almost completely decapitated from a boomerang knife,
Yeah.
So to me, it was a little off because, like, when we referenced 300, when you watch 300, he had several arrows in him, but they were proportionately everywhere, and it made sense if his face was missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This was shot out of like a rocket launcher missile kind of thing.
To me, give me at least one in the neck.
Yeah.
Or something that shows that it's not just in her blue suit.
Or maybe this is what allowed them to make it more practical instead of CGI.
Correct. Even way it goes, the entire battle scene was beautifully done. I love the gray screen. Mm-hmm. They put the filter in on the camera because, you have white versus a blue, and so the graininess of the camera was really, really good. The smoke, You know,
like their
Chow's people.
visual shots are just on
I'm
par
telling
with
you,
everything.
the people who handle the cinematography on this show,
Some of the
kudos.
best in the business.
Kudos, man, kudos. The vibrancy and everything was really, really good. I mean, what would you say? You know, let's talk about a few of the really high points of the episode. I don't want to go like verbatim through the entire thing.
I
That'd be a
think
waste
the
of time.
fighting. I think this was some of the best fighting we've seen.
I'm gonna go ahead
so
and say like my top fight in my mind was the Widow and Moon.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't. The story of bringing Moon back is really hindering me.
Yeah, I do like that he is at this place with all these swords of all the people who tried to get him.
After they heard that he lost his hand and everything.
To me, that was pretty
Yeah.
sweet. Like the graveyard was pretty epic, and him like, "Oh, are you here? Was it your husband?
Yeah.
Was it your brother?"
She's
Was
like,
it-
I've already killed my husband. You actually know him. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were his regent.
So to me, this whole setup was cool. His arm with the Predator rebar.
Oh, loved it. And
I mean,
it
he clicks
extends
the
out.
thing and it comes out. I thought that was kind of, it was kind
Yeah.
of cheese, but it was also like, all right, that's
It
pretty
was
cool.
a practical, like, and he found good uses for it and everything.
Right.
So I was like, okay.
I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I was like, wait, really?
You know, I love what, you know, her premise, you know, the man who ashamed you, let's find it. And then the Highlander fight where they're going up the
Yes.
stairs like the original Highlanders. You know, I'm like, I was only waiting for one of them to go, there can only be one, you know, at the end of it.
Well, and bouncing off the swords and everything, like
Yes.
actually getting the bend of swords and everything. I was like, that's incredible.
I mean, now, tell me this. Emily Beecham, who plays the Widow, this was the best looking, like, with the most light on the scene of her, like, physically fighting with the sword and the speed and the camera, all this stuff.
Outside of
really,
like her and the Tilda fight last season,
that was really good, but I really, really enjoyed, like, there was no slowness of anything in any part of this fight. And then her splitting on the two swords and her doing all this stuff. Now, I do think it is a little bit where they do the whole cut frame of them bouncing off the edge of the sword with their heel, and then all of a sudden she's flying up to the next part, and it's not one continuous shot.
But
that was a little different because in the past they've done a continuous shot.
I think that was just
it's necessity.
Yeah,
if anything.
And with how high they were making her jump versus normal,
correct?
Because like that was like a 40-foot clearance.
So when they got on top of this thing, all I could think of was this was the scene from Wolverine and Deadpool. You know, we're on top. I was like, all right, this is where, you know, the original Deadpool takes it ugly. But anyway.
How did you watch that Wolverine? Because I watched it like bootlegged, so like it was even worse. Like not all the CGI was in there. Oh my god!
BleedTV does not sponsor any pirated video or anything else, such as what Cash is.
It was at a friend's house. It was at a friend's house.
We're going to have to talk about your commitment to the podcast after this, you know, and so on.
I watched Wolverine. If that's not commitment.
It's a poor choice all around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, something else I thought was really cool about the episode is like I said, they did all their characters.
Okay, well.
They introduce all of them in a really cool, unique, their own way.
They did.
Tilda ripping off the supply run. Dude, the Hannibal Lecter mask, or I would say Scorpion mask from Mortal Kombat.
Loving this.
I wish she had kept it on. I mean, she's a beautiful girl, but the mask
I think
was
they wanted
so intimidating.
Yeah, they needed us to know it was Tilda because I honestly had no idea who it was.
I want her to wear it from
Everywhere.
now on because the way they did her makeup, I love the muted orange or burnt orange of their colors. It's the Iron Rabbits is what they are.
Okay, yeah.
And, dude, creepy as hell, man. I mean, in a good way.
Yes.
I mean, when she hopped in that truck and she had that look, that was the most intimidating Tilda I've ever seen.
I'm convinced that she's like the baddest person in the lands right now.
It is very impressive.
And then the little, because it's not, because it has a handle, this little blade thing that she slings through the window and everything.
Yeah.
Because it was really cool. Because I was like, really, she's going to throw this through a windshield?
Yeah, it's like it's larger than Ninja Star. Not as big as a boomerang.
Yeah. And it's not 3-pronged because it's got the handle, so it's only the two sides. And I was just like, this is the most imaginative weapon I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
And then I love seeing it curve through the window and everything. Like
taking throats with it. You know?
Yeah, what was the Angelina Jolie with they could curve the bullets and everything?
Oh, God. Jesus.
But I mean, that's what it reminded me of. Wanted.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It had that very good vibe to it.
Yeah. So then when they introduced her, that was good.
Yeah.
And of course, that just happens to where Benji's in there.
I had a problem with this.
To me, it's like the only thing lacking about the episode when it came to the character introductions is like, okay, we don't have enough time to introduce Benji in his own unique way, so we just have to fold him into one.
Yeah, it's either they don't know what to do with Benji, or there's still something he's not telling us.
Right.
Because
we did learn that in the last season, that he knew a lot more
Yes.
when he's trying to do those messages out there to Azra, this and so on, and everything else. Like I said, if I had to say there was 3 negatives to the episode, I thought folding Benji in like the way they did was very convenient. Not enough time to really
Convenient
get him in.
is the best.
And then I thought it was even more convenient that they were all converged together in the same location by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little convenient. It's okay. They could have stretched it out where they don't meet until here or there or so on.
They didn't all have to converge in the same episode.
They didn't. But it wasn't too much. It wasn't like everybody got together.
Yeah.
If MK was at the shelter with them, I'd have been like, all right, BS.
I'm still liking what they're doing with MK and everything, honestly.
Well, this is one time where, how we always hate previews that ruin things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got MK who's locked up with his women, which is not...
It's weird.
It's not MK.
It is and it isn't, because he's always been fascinated with. Tilda, the girl from.
But he's never been the guy.
He's never been a
I
ladies.
just got my hose in the sheets over here. No.
That's true.
And plus, he's in a cage. So how'd the girls get in? And you just
he can just leave whenever he wants or something.
The whole MK thing was a little off to me. And like I said, the preview was like they show him with the black eyes.
Yeah.
So obviously he gets his gift back. So hence there's no surprise, nothing to that,
Well, my thing was, I think it's connected to Tilda. And so I don't know if they're going to be reconnected next season or next episode, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. That's where they've created a little bit of mystery of how this, how that stuff.
And then I guess if MK's able to get it, are we to assume that Benji can get his gift back?
Exactly. And not only that, and then, of course... Now the big reveal is that Henry has the gift.
Yeah, and we've always thought that Sonny had it, but I guess he does not because
I don't think. But what makes a person have the gift? And so I'm hoping this season gives us a lot of answers, and so on.
But it's really confusing because we didn't get the monks.
No monks.
And so how does this guy have 2 people with the gift, and the monks haven't come after him yet?
I don't know. Well, I just don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot missing here. And then you look at the other parts of the episode. Some things I really did enjoy. I love that Sonny was down to earth. I love the whole character reference of the deer, not shooting it. I love they had a real baby that was used and it sounded authentic. There's nothing worse than somebody running around with a lifeless
American
doll.
Sniper.
Yeah, exactly.
And were you waiting on Henry to just be doused in sweat at any point in time? I was like, clearly the sweating has to live on, right?
Yes,
you just poured.
Vale was a sweater.
Exactly.
This kid better have some sweat glands.
And now he's got a fever and everything, and he's not sweating. I'm like, come on, guys. we know that there's a water bottle on set. We've seen it.
I know the other thing. One character that I was kind of like, oh man, we didn't see it was Waldo.
Yes.
He was mentioned.
Mentioned.
So we'll see. And of course,
I think he's gone. Unfortunately, just with that one-off line and everything. Even Waldo.
I think he comes in for he's a guest appearance person. Here, there, maybe.
I hope so.
To me, one of the best actors on the show, so I hate we lose him. So I'm hoping not. Now, this whole episode is to set up the season, which, by the way, is 16 episodes.
Yes.
Which is a monumental feat for Into the Badlands. This will be the largest season ever, which is a lot.
It's a lot of
coverage. So it's going to
be interesting to see what pace we keep the rest
That's
of
the thing. Are you going to be able to keep all those things going constantly without it becoming redundant, recycled, and everything else?
And right now, with the amount of storylines we have, it could be possible.
It could very much be possible. But I've also, like you've seen, if anybody who's watched the previews, we're going to get to see even more new characters, not just Pilgrim.
And we're going to have to bring the monks back in the fold.
There's a lot going on here. I think, the whole thing with Chow's not over. The Butterfly Army, which evidently has, quite grown harsh in 6 months.
Which
MK getting his gift back, who Azra is. There's so much they can go with this, so I'm very looking forward to a lot of that. All right, let's talk about the new characters that's come in, and the way it was brought in is that Benji sent the message out there to Azra and never got a response.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he says that, then we see the scene of Pilgrim and company coming through the wall into the Badlands.
Yes.
And so, to me, that makes me assume this is Azra, some form of
he
people
was
from
leaving the Badlands going into Azra is what I thought.
No, that was the wall. They were coming to it because they showed up to Chow's place, which is in the Badlands.
Okay.
So, to me, this is the people from... It took 6 months from wherever they were to get there. Thus, now they show up at Chow's place. And Pilgrim and them are in control of people with the gift as well.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know that this was Chow's place. Because
Right.
they were
The
following
people
that
in the white
compass
were
and
Chow.
everything.
Exactly.
Gotcha. This is making a lot more sense now.
All right.
Which also, Chow's crossbows, the weakest things I've ever seen in my life. I've seen kids' toys look more intimidating than these crossbows.
It didn't match like the ones that... Remember when they shot the bus to pieces?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I was like, these
look like they were made from balsa wood. Like I don't.
That was one scene like where you were like, okay, real cool. Didn't quite match is when they turned black. One cut his cheek, one cut his arm, which they were badass when they had the black eyes.
Yeah, and it looks like they've only turned like 4 times because he didn't have many unless he's got other spots. But
right, you just don't know.
Why would you?
But they both get up and do this whole windmill thing.
Didn't like it.
And they're like chopping all these arrows, and Pilgrim doesn't even flinch.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. You can't tell me that all of them were shooting only at these two.
Well, and not only that, but they're shooting to the side because like they didn't have them up above them or anything. Like they weren't going to get hit by any of these bolts.
Yeah, to me, it was just a little bridge too far.
Yeah.
Me personally, I would have rather seen both of them step in front of Pilgrim and take all the arrows out by cool hand move.
Well,
techniques.
like the Deadpool commercial, like where he's just like cable shoot them and everything. It's just like,
my God. Bullets are fast, man.
Yeah.
You're real fast.
But instead of, let the ball hit you, they actually hit the arrows.
Right.
I think that would have been a lot
It would have
cooler.
looked better than the whole
spinning tornado.
Because it didn't even, like when they're like the sticks are falling everywhere and stuff, it just didn't come off right.
No.
It really didn't. Now, when they were in there hopping through them and taking folks out right and left was pretty cool.
This was phenomenal.
This was pretty epic. Did you notice the one guy, like his power turned off?
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about that.
This has got to be a clue to something.
This is huge because once you have it on, you have a temporary control over it.
Yeah, it was something different.
Because he turns it back on.
He does. He really does.
I guess I can't assume that he felt safe because I would think you could still sense that person. Because, we've seen...
Right.
Like you kind of have like an aura radar, it feels like, around you. And so for him to turn it off was just such...
Yeah, they're going
it's a clue.
They're going to do some splaining somewhere on that situation, that they have their better grip on it or some better control. I don't know. So,
but I can't see... It's not the monk level of control because they don't need to bleed to do it.
Correct.
And so this is a weird middle ground, I guess? Or maybe he was just able to... He thought they were all dead, and...
Well, here's the other thing, too, is that you remember the Black Eyes, they can kill each other.
Yeah.
They kill anything. There's a very lack of control.
Unless you're with the monks.
Right. So these two were helping each other battle. So that's extreme control of a gift.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot going on in the scene when you really, really think about it. And then when they do at the end, when they just knock him over the side, and I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Well, not only that, it was the one where she initially got up there and then used, the extra pillar. She slid underneath it, kicked the guy, then came back up and stabbed another person on her way down.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
She's one badass.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
But, going back to, the Widow and Moonlight's fight, where her sword split, and then you see that, then she comes and goes with a sweeping attack, and then they blocked with the Predator hand. Oh, yeah. I was like, holy shit! We're actually doing a lot of stuff with this fighting.
Yes.
I guess 3 years in, an extra year of training, that's really showing.
Well, yeah. Now, if we follow Sonny Daniel Wu's character on Instagram and stuff like that.
And
he
MK
showed all that training they did over, I think it was in Ireland, Scotland.
Yeah, they're in
like
Dublin right now.
And all the stuff they've been doing. So, I mean, like, kudos to these actors, man. Like, it's so impressive.
Yes, they are taking this serious, and like I would be. They're doing a lot of their own stunts. It really seems like in everything with the training that they're doing.
It's really, really impressive. Everything about the show that started out this season 3 is really kicking off really, really well. I can't be more pleased. I'm hoping we're going to make some inquiries. Maybe we can get a couple actors on the show to come talk to us and about this and that or so on. We had Al on last year. We're hoping to get Miles on this year. And try to really, really keep building this show up, because I'm telling people that I think you really get into it, you're really going to like. I mean, a lot of people at work, I told people to get into it. I've already got messages back how great it is. I think tell your friends, tell them what's going on, and tell them to listen in with us, guys. We're going to go over every show. We're going to be a part of it. We sometimes have a third guy on BleedTV, which is my brother Jake, and he's kind of a character, and he could be with us tonight. But we're going to be wrapping up this entire season, week by week, and try to do some special interviews to throw in there. We talk about guest questions and different things. So if there's opinions you have, hit us up on social media. There's BleedTV Podcast. We have a Gmail account, so BleedTV Podcast at Gmail. We're on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Whatever you want to do, we'd love to converse and talk. We've got lots of fans, and looking forward to the season.
I really am, especially if they keep having as much fun writing for Benji as they did this episode, because he had some one-liners.
Yeah, no, I mean, him and the whole gambling, and I can really explain that. The only thing about that whole scene, though, going back to those details, is that, they're playing some kind of what looks to be Scrabble, but
almost domino-esque, Scrabble.
So he tears his pocket with all the like that, and then later on in the scene when they're looking at the baby, he's got his hands in his pocket.
Yeah.
So the pocket recovered,
And no way that pocket was tearing like that. It was just
that coat looked expensive. But anyway, little things like that. But Benji's, his one-liners are great.
His
Nick Frost, come on, man, the guy's good.
It's just like, hey, lend me a coin and I'll buy you a drink. I was like, yeah, I'm using that. Like, I'm going to go to the bar, but hey, man, it's probably like $5. I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
Just see where that goes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so.
And then do you think we should be worried about the Baroness? Because she has a lot of power, and she just kicked Tilda out, really, with.
It's really cool that Moon become her right hand. No pun intended. For the future.
Well, no, that's the widow. Baroness.
Oh, the Baroness.
She's of her religious group, because he's like, the only person you can trust less than a Baroness is the leader of a religion.
Yes, Lydia.
Yeah.
And to me, she's become an ally. She's a good person.
I mean, she's not very happy that Sonny's there, or that Tilda's there, her ally, that's a little shaky ground for me.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the intermediate of a lot of things, and so I as one viewer, one of our fans put in there, she fears that it's predictable, and she might be very much right. Is that Lydia becomes the caretaker for the baby while Sonny goes off and fights war, which is that becomes her character.
I could kind of see that.
You know what I mean? Which I hope doesn't happen. I
kind of hope it does, because I'm sorry, nothing sinks a TV show more than a baby. Like, in all reality,
you can't imagine doing Sonny all these amazing fights like that with a baby in the back, just be like, yay!
No, I cannot. Or like, we're going to make the baby like the rabbit from Monty Python, where he just goes around and just starts throwing nunchucks and everything.
He's throwing diaper loads for surprises as his weapons. I know.
Who flung the poo?
Yeah, but you're going to have some extra caretaker or something happening. He can't rock with the baby the entire time.
No.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. There's so much going on right now, so you really don't know which direction is completely going. Like you said, you got Tilda, trying to create her own group. You've got the widow wanting to end the war by owning everything and making a free world. You got Pilgrim coming in, and
we've got Sonny, we've got Benji, we've got possibly Sonny with Benji.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrinkles. MK, is in limbo. So
these new people, and there's no way that I can see us going on without the monks, and then whoever else gets.
There's a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah,
a lot of ground. So it's very interesting. So I just can't wait till next episode.
No, I mean, this is very exciting, uplifting, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, and I really hope we can keep the energy in these kind of fight scenes all throughout the season.
Any predictions, early predictions? Any main characters die in this season?
Man, it's really hard to see. I mean, obviously we know anyone can die because they've pretty much set that course. So, I mean, I think I'd be hard-pressed to see Lydia make it out throughout the entire season.
Okay.
I would be...
Give me your top 3 possible deaths.
I think it would be Lydia. I think Moon's definitely dead. And then, like, out of the core, like, I want to be able to say, like, Widow, Tilda, MK, Sunny die, but I think Tilda's the most replaceable out of them, or maybe MK. But anyone with the gift, I find it hard to kill off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone can capture the show as well as Sunny, so I'd be very hesitant to kill him off.
Right. I'm going to say Moon is definitely expendable.
Well, because, like, I don't even see him being a good reason to be on the show. Like, she saves his life. The same reason that he's mad at Sunny. And so, like, that's what gets you to come over to your side.
Yeah, like, give him purpose, as they say.
But I mean, it was the same. I had a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you've chose 3 good ones. I mean, if you can say that they go, it's not the end. It's not a.
But I mean, it's going to move forward, and like it's going to cause enough of a ruffle.
Your core characters are MK, Sunny, Benji, and the Widow. I mean, so realistically, you really can't really. None of those are expendable.
No. Benji is to an extent, but we've got to see.
But he's brought the comic relief.
Well, not only that, like he's got so much mystery about him.
Right.
Like we don't know if he's hiding things because he's just too coincidental.
Correct. So we'll have to see how that goes. But guys, I think that's kind of wraps it for our first episode. I mean, it was just action packed and great. There's nothing to gripe about. Just some great visuals, colors.
Let me ask you about before we leave the compass. I was really expecting it to take off once Henry was touching it, but it still didn't move.
No.
So do you think we have to have the book with it?
No, because even Pilgrim pulled the compass out. And
so it was working.
He's working. So
he doesn't have the gift to our knowledge.
So, the compass is still in the air.
Yeah.
That is the mystery. Like I said, it's just like we talked about Westworld and a few other things. There's a lot of eggs out there thrown out there. You don't know which ones are going to produce, and where it's going. And so... that's where second and third episode are really going to try to hone us in a direction.
Yeah. But, like, look, the special effects people on this show, because the blood splatter was top-notch.
Yeah.
And, I mean, y'all crushed it yet again. Visuals, like we said, cinematography. It was just a very fun hour.
There's no doubt.
And this is what I've been wanting for a long time.
There's no doubt. Guys, I really hope y'all keep the pace up. We love what we're seeing. I look forward to getting more in depth with as the episodes go, because this one was such high pace and just kind of getting to everybody. I think the next episodes will break off into more individual storylines and different things. I think they're going to have to, and so we'll have a lot more to get detailed in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm looking forward to that as well. So because I mean, so many things to talk about, and the show's going to bring it. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, I'm excited,
guys. This is BleedTV podcast, and I'm Zach,
and I'm Cash,
and we're going to catch y'all next week. Thanks.